What I experienced with the Gateway tapes, if you don't have the tapes, to experience it yourself. This is tape 11, wave 2, threshold 5, energy bar tool. Right out of the gate with this tape 11 energy bar tool, I had a bit of judgment, I noticed. When I was reading the manual, I didn't have much to highlight. And most of the time, I'm like highlighting basically the whole manual for the tape. They refer to kings and queens and pharaohs and even like Jedi masters in the manual. So I started to kind of get a bit of judgment. I noticed I didn't want that, but I thought it was like a little weird. I mean, I think it's okay for me to think that some of this stuff is weird. I'm going to allow myself a little bit of that. But if you judge it too hard, it's not going to work for you. So I do understand that too. So this one by far was the most like, okay. Look, when I was reading it, I noticed that. I understand it as a tool that will be used in the other waves to come. We're currently in wave 2. I actually got really nervous. Like, what do I associate with the power stick? Like, what's a thing that I like to have? Like, I was like, I don't know. My mind drew a blank. And then I was like, okay, well, what do I like? I came up with feather. Another thing I came up with is like a water bottle. Like I always like have this guy with me. So a water bottle. But then I was just like, whatever, it probably doesn't matter, and I moved on. Try to like not not judge it, go in with the intent of expanding my consciousness and seeing what I find out, just a curious intent going into this one. I got down and I started my preparatory process, like he says. I I think that the preparatory process at the beginning is getting shorter. And I noticed that this tape was 35 minutes, and like all of wave 1 and part of wave 2 tapes were like 40 minutes, 39 minutes. I'm noticing that the last couple are 35 minutes. So maybe that's because they're shortening down the pre-preparatory process. So by the time he starts, and this is just a Focus 10 one, there was no Focus 12 exercise of the energy bar tool, I wasn't done. So I had to get into Focus 10 real quick, which is pretty easy. I don't know why. It's just getting easier. It is getting easier into like this hypnotic, calm, body asleep, mind awake trance. He first has you go in and visualize like a white light in front of you. So I just like visualized maybe like a star and it was all dark. And that was kind of like my white light reference, just like a little pin light. And then he has you elongate it. So I did that in my mind. That was easy. I elongated it. He said to make it sparkly. So I did that. I made it sparkly and like shimmery. And then he starts with like every color of the rainbow. He goes like, I don't know what order it is, but like green, blue, purple, red. I don't know how many there were. There were like 30 minutes worth of this because this is mostly exercise. And I will tell you, it was mentally tough. Meanwhile, I'm still in the back of my mind being like, okay, I guess it's just gonna stay a bar. I wasn't feeling water bottle. I wasn't feeling feather. Um, I was just feeling the bar, like a bar, like I don't know, maybe maybe like the size of my torso. It wasn't big or anything. The mental exercise to stay awake in your mind. My body was asleep. There was no problem there. To stay mentally awake and listening along with the surf in the background, visualize the color bar sparkling. Then he would say, go back to white, sparkling. And then he did that. So mentally it was a lot. And maybe that was the point. It's like, building a mental muscle for your Focus 10. I'm not sure if you guys have done it. Let me know if that's what you guys got too. In the manual, it does say it's used in wave 3 and the freedom exercise, and like you can use your bar vortexes and stuff. So, anyways, I think to me, this was like a mental exercise, like building a mental bicep. because it was really challenging to stay conscious, awake, to stay visualizing a bar and then changing the colors and make it sparkly, as he was saying. I did read in the manual that he does say it may be vague at first and watch it develop, and that it might get warm, it might have a different vibration and energy. I didn't feel any of that. I was just clearly focused on not clicking out and doing his mental aerobics. I will be doing this one again because I do them all again. And I will see if anything comes out of it besides me really concentrating. Maybe I was just too in my head on a bar and not it coming to me as something cooler. I think that was like kind of a little bit of a distraction. I did have something really cool happen. So when I got up, I like checked my phone to see what time it was, and it was 3:33. So I think that was a sign that you did okay, girl. Just keep it up. And you know how you go in meditation and you meditate and then you come out and you're like a lot more energized? That's what I was hoping that this would do for me. 100% worked. I went in like I almost was like, do I do this tape 11 or do I take a nap? And I was like, well, I think I hit two birds with one stone if I go into tape 11. I'm glad I did because like he says at the end, you are now wide awake and alert coming out of phase or focus 10. Obviously, share if you have done this tape before and give me any tips on how to better visualize and get out of my own way with what my bar looks like. Another one on the books.